Hi, this is Dr Emma Offord, host of This Voice is Mine, the Unquiet Podcast. For every neurodivergent mind that was masked, misread or missed, where identity is reclaimed and the system gets named, This Voice is Mine is a podcast for those who were told they were too much, too sensitive, too chaotic, too intense or not enough. Hosted by myself, Dr Emma Offord, a clinical psychologist, neurodivergent woman and unapologetic system disruptor. This podcast explores what happens when difference is pathologized and what becomes possible when we drop the shame, the script and the medical model. Through stories, reflections and conversations with people who were never meant to fit, This Voice is Mine reclaims the truth of neurodivergent minds, bodies and ways of being. This is not about fixing or fitting in. It's about remembering who we are and unlearning everything they got wrong. Today's guest is Dr. Tuesday, a psychologist, writer and mother whose work explores the emotional realities of modern motherhood. Through her advocacy and social media platform, she creates space for the feelings that many mothers experience but rarely talk about openly. Fear, shame, anger, overwhelm, loneliness and uncertainty. What I love about Tuesday's work is that she isn't interested in offering perfect solutions or polished versions of motherhood. Instead, she invites us to sit with the complexity of being human, to understand our emotional experiences more deeply, and to recognise that difficult feelings are not signs that we're failing. They're part of the landscape of caring deeply. Today, we're talking about fear, perfectionism, truth-telling, motherhood, and what happens when we stop performing and start speaking honestly. Dr. Tuesday, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me and for that amazing intro.
It is so fantastic to have you here. So for you guys who are listening, Tuesday attempted to come yesterday and I got a call in the morning, really super early in the morning.
Yep.
You got the kids to breakfast club, you were in the car, you were on track, and then a traffic jam hit.
And then traffic jam, literally gridlocked. Like, you know, when it feels like you stack all of the pieces really neatly together and then the one thing that could go wrong has gone wrong. It was just like one of those mornings. And my husband working away meant that I had to do everything myself to get to that point, and I was so careful, like to the point where I packed the car the night before, put all their school bags on their seats and all their water bottles, you know, and you just plan every detail that you think is going to trip you up and hold you back, and it wasn't enough in the end. So I felt like I wanted to tear my hair out.
I could sense that. and that's mothering, isn't it?
That,
you know, you line everything up, and then you just get sideswiped.
Completely
and
sideswiped.
You don't know that's the thing that is going to prevent.
Nope.
Because you've
beyond your control as
totally
well,
beyond your control.
which is just motherhood in a nutshell. It's ultimately it's beyond your control, isn't
but
it?
you're here today.
I'm here today
because the heat wave gifted me a space.
Yes,
and I
did.
said, by a long shot, would you be able to? And you
made it work. I'm here.
You made it come in. And I did say to my team, I've got a feeling if anyone's going to be able to make this happen, it's going to be Tuesday. She's going to be here. And you did.
We did it.
So for those listeners who don't know that much about you or are just discovering your page, do you want to let them know a little bit about what you're doing on social media and what you're talking about and who you are?
Sure. So I am a psychologist and mum of 3, and my background is in academia. So I'm an academic psychologist, which means I was a lecturer for many years. I was very much in like the research world of psychology. I'm quite a geek, basically. I love like reading research and like really digging into the numbers about what's happening. And teaching was my joy. And then I had kids, and everything I understood about myself shifted and changed. My whole life, it felt like I was living a life that didn't belong to me anymore. Like my career didn't make sense. My friendships were fading. My relationship felt like, you know, unsteady. There were so many things that like overnight shifted for me. And, you know, I've had child after child. I've got 3 children, and like with each one, I've kind of been on this journey toward understanding myself more deeply. And where I ultimately ended up was these big, uncomfortable feelings that I have that I know so many other mothers have, but that we don't talk about. Not always because they're uncomfortable, which they are, but for the most part it's because lots of us we weren't raised to be given that emotional literacy.
Yeah.
Like that is a missing puzzle piece for so many of us. So suddenly we find ourselves in motherhood grappling with these feelings that we don't have words for, but we know that they are hot and uncomfortable and scary. Like they feel really scary, some of them, like anger, for instance. And it's like, how are we supposed to teach our children about these emotions when we were never taught the skills how to, or even how to name them and recognize them for what they are? So that's kind of the space that I dwell in, is naming these uncomfortable feelings that I experience myself, that I know so many other mothers experience. And like you say, I don't offer fixes for any of them. That's not my style at all. And I think for a while, like when I was thinking about how I wanted to show up online, I felt a pressure to offer solutions. I felt like there was an expectation that, well, you're a psychologist.
Yeah.
You know the things, so give us something that's going to fix this.
Yeah.
And I felt a real pressure to show up in a really professional and expert-led kind of way. But actually, that's not what people want from me at all. And it didn't align. It didn't feel like it fit. I think because I've spent my whole life like presenting a very polished and put together version of myself. It was like, finally I was saying, there isn't really a solution here. Let's just sit with it. Like, let's just sit in these feelings and really get to know them without trying to fix them. So that's what I talk a lot about. And it's uncomfortable and it's raw and it's, I say it with my chest and it comes straight from the heart, and it seems to resonate every time.
And it's so relatable.
Yes.
It's so relatable.
Yes.
You mentioned to me that you're in your kind of truth-telling era, and tell me if I got this wrong, but that when you first started showing up, maybe it was a bit more expert-led, or you're thinking you had to do it that way, and you didn't quite perhaps attract as many people. But once you started talking from this raw, authentic kind of the uncomfortable feelings, that's when people started to take notice and connect.
Completely. Like, I think I'd been kind of dwelling in the social media space for 2 or 3 years and just feeling really lost. Like I was just really in this feeling of lostness. And it was from that place when I really felt like there's nowhere else to go. Like, I don't know what else to say apart from what I'm feeling right now and what I'm living. And I did that. I just said it. And overnight, literally overnight, everything changed. And like this time last year, or maybe slightly further down, it was in the summer last year, I said to a friend, I want to walk away from it all, because I feel like I'm crushing myself by trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do, and I feel like I can't figure out what that is, and it's crushing me, and I can't find the answers. And my friend just said to me, what do you enjoy? What's your joy? And I was saying, I love writing, I love just expressing, and she's like, just follow your joy and see where it takes you. And it was like, once I removed that pressure to fix and to offer solutions, and and not to fix myself either, just to say it, that was when everything changed. And literally my life as I knew it, like overnight, has changed.
And I think that's probably quite reflective of the audience who follow you, is that they've probably had periods of trying to fix themselves.
Yes, they have.
Other people have said you need to find the solution, and actually to have somebody boldly say, I'm not here to, or suggest that you need to find a solution, but let's talk and let's share.
Exactly.
That's so refreshing for them.
Yes, and I think that's exactly it. But I think also it reflects something that was lost in this village that we once had. Because, we all talk about this village, we've lost our village, we don't have it anymore. But I think it's not just about the practical logistical support that people are missing. It's the connectedness, it's the humanity, it's the like sitting around with your aunts and sisters and cousins and mums and sharing in an experience. And I think that's what I'm trying to offer on my page. It's like, come and sit, and let's talk about this. Like, I'll often say, right, we're going to have a chat about this, or we're going to have a chat about that. And that's what I want to create, is that feeling of like common humanity and village that, you know, yes, it's virtual, it's not in real life, and it will never be the same, but I hope that it offers something.
And maybe encouragement or an awareness, that's what I need. And maybe try to recreate that in your local life. But
yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I see it as like a ripple effect, hopefully, that maybe someone else will feel brave enough to say the thing out loud that they're feeling, or reach out to another person, or start up a community group, or, you know, whatever the thing is. I'm hoping that it's like planting the seeds of a bigger movement, all centering around the fact that we're all human beings who have these really normal human experiences and feelings that no one talks about, but we all share, and it's okay. And as soon as we let our wall down, connection is easier to access.
So what do you think might have happened to mothers' voices, women's voices, in, you know, the transition into motherhood? And maybe it existed before, but where these difficult feelings and difficult experiences are not shared. I know you said about the village, and there's that part of it. Is there more to it, do you think, than that?
As in, you think that the fact that we've lost the village and the sharing, that creates, I mean, for me, what I see a lot of is shame. For a lot of mothers, there's a real sense of shame around these feelings, and I think a lot of that happens because we're not able to share right in the same ways, and so we look toward the things that we have access to, which is social media, which portrays a very different version of motherhood a lot of the time, or very harmful narratives, in fact, about motherhood. I was talking this week about the fact there's a real narrative around, you know, easy children, and the fact that if you're a good parent, you have an easy child. And that as long as you are emotionally attuned, that you meet their needs, you make them feel safe, then they're going to be easy. That's not true. That's simply not true.
Thank you for saying that.
It's simply false. But so many, you know, mummy influencers, if you like, pages like that perpetuate this narrative of, like, you know, this soft Mother Earth type character that has all these easy kids because she's perfectly attuned to them all the time. And that's just not the reality for most. Possible. But that's our village. Right? That's our modern day version of the village. We turn towards social media, and it just doesn't give us a true reflection of what's going on, whereas in the past we were getting like the real-time version of that, right? Not the curated one, the real-time version of it, because we were there together. So I think the gap between who we are, the messy lives that we live, and the curated ones that we see, creates a real gap for shame to take root. And so we end up hiding a lot of who we are and how we feel. And
I totally agree with you about shame being a huge component of this.
Massive,
I remember when I had my daughter, my first child, and thinking, right, I've been to the NCT classes, which I now call it, sorry NCT, but just for me this was music, candles and lies, because it just did not turn out like they promised.
It's time for a rebrand.
And part of that was, you know, meeting people, and that you all meet up and you go to these baby groups.
So romantic.
I would rock up to these baby groups just messy, like I'd forgotten something. This was stressful. I hate this. Look, do all the children have to suck on the instruments without cleaning them? I just couldn't cope in these environments. And everyone else was clapping with their babies, singing the songs, and it was my version of hell. Getting there was my version of hell. And I probably made one friend who was able to, Jolene in fact, who's part of DL, who was able to say to me, and we were able to share because we didn't feel shamed with each other, because we had just a way of communicating and a knowing that this is safe, whereas didn't really share it with anyone else because I didn't feel like it would be accepted. I feel like it would have been well, you need to try, if you try this, maybe she'll be quiet. And if you set your alarm for this, or have you tried this product? I knew advice would be given. I didn't want it because I knew that wasn't what was going on. And that's not the conversation I wanted to have.
Yeah, exactly. It's that phrase, isn't it? If you just try this, or if you just do that. And there's always the assumption that the reason you're finding it hard, or this is really unenjoyable, or that, you know, you're struggling, is because you just haven't found the right thing. You just haven't tried hard enough. You haven't found the right strategy, approach, mindset, hack, whatever it is that's out there. You're not trying hard enough at this. Exactly. That's the built-in assumption. And I think it's so harmful to mothers, and that is a breeding ground for shame as well, because it says, I'm not a good enough mother. If I'm not trying hard enough, I'm not getting it right, I'm not good enough, I'm not cut out for this. Like that was how I felt, certainly. Like as a first time mum, is like, I'm doing all the things and I've still got a baby who hates everything that I do. Seems to have a real problem with me. Seems to have a real like grudge against me. I hear you. Had a really mean, angry face. The way he looked at me with such like venom, like I'd hurt him in some way. And I was doing all the things, like I was at the baby classes, I was doing baby sensory, swimming, baby yoga, a new mum group. Like it was like a full-time job.
It was,
trying to make sure that he had an enriched like experience as a baby, so that he was a calm and content child and a happy, well-rounded individual. Like it was under my control. Like I was the puppeteer and the architect of this little human. Wasn't. He came in with his plan. He knew who he was. I was just a passenger.
But I really love what you said there, because also we're not actually giving babies and developing humans enough credit to be who they are in all of this either. Because it's like mums are the puppeteers to create these really happy, easy babies. And that's like the dream.
Yeah, exactly. Like we have control. I heard a phrase once that just like hit me like a ton of bricks. It was that you are a shepherd and not an architect, not an engineer. So be the shepherd, not the engineer. And I think I came into motherhood expecting that I was the engineer. I was the one who was going to shape these experiences, when I'm just the shepherd. They know what they want to do. I'm just here for the ride, kind of thing.
Just herding them along.
But that was a tough lesson, that I had to learn along the way, is that I don't drive here. Like I'm not the one behind the driving, like the steering wheel.
It's a really unhealthy myth.
It's so unhealthy and so harmful. And I often think of who I was, like the previous version of me, who is quiet in the baby classes and feeling really isolated and lonely, even in a group of people. And I often think of the mums who are having that same experience right now, and turning to social media and then coming across a video that says something like, my baby's not easy, I just respond to their every needs. And it's like, I just want to like put my arms around her and just be like, it's just not true. It's just not true. Please don't believe it. But you can't you can't shield everyone from that. So my antidote is I'll just say the ugly things over in my little corner.
I like that.
I'll say the uncomfortable things so that you know you're not alone.
And was there a moment, a defining moment, or an incident, or just a point where you did that pivot and where, you know, I mean, you describe it because it'll be your experience, but where you began to own that a little bit more and, you know, put the other stuff down. Like, it must have been a process rather than like the next day kind of experience.
Definitely a process. And with each child, I felt like another layer, several layers were kind of like dissolving and moving away. But there was a moment with my firstborn. I remember I was rushing and racing to get to a baby sensory class, and he was screaming like I'm sure I've got, like, if I heard the sound now, I feel like I would have a full body reaction to the sound. And I put him in the car anyway, because I was like, maybe he'll sleep in the car, maybe like it will all work out. Put him in the car, and I was so distracted by his screaming and like the racing thoughts. I'm going to be late. I'm going to be late. I'm going to, like, everyone's going to look at me when I walk in because I'm going to be late. All of that stuff. He needs feeding. Maybe he needs feeding. Maybe I should not go. Maybe I, like, all of the things going round and round. And I was so distracted that I just put my car in reverse, and I reversed off of my driveway, and I hit a parked car that was on the other side of the road. No one was hurt. No one was in it. It was my neighbour's friend. And, but that was a real, like, jolt for me. I was like, why am I doing this? Who is this for? It's not the baby. Look at him.
No.
Look at him. It's like, it's not for me. Look at me. I'm a wreck. I'm a mess right now. I'm frazzled. I'm frantic. I'm in floods of tears. All for what? For what? I'm going to get there and he's going to cry the whole time anyway. I'm going to be there on the side, like, consoling this baby who's angry at me because probably the sound and everything was too much anyway. I'm trying to force him to do stuff that is just not for him. And so that was a real moment of, I'm not doing this anymore. So overnight, that was my overnight moment where I cancelled everything. I didn't care what it was. I cancelled it.
You literally
to the burnt it to the ground. And I was like, the only thing I am doing from now on is something that makes me feel good, and that is a walk every single day. Going out for a walk every single day, and that was it. And from then on, it was like, it was a moment of something needs to change, but a gradual process of, like, really getting to the core of what was going on, and, like, the expectations and my own kind of rigid. I can be quite rigid as well in my way. So kind of coming face to face with that, a lot of unmasking as well had to happen. And that's taken years. Perfectionist, like recovering from perfectionism, because that is a recovery. It doesn't happen overnight. I feel like I will be in recovery from perfectionism for the rest of my life, because it has this, like, hold over me where I catch myself sometimes. So I'm like, what? Why are you doing that? Or why are you putting so much pressure? Or, you know, I'm like, oh, that's what it is. It's not me. It's that. And it's trying to control the way that I make myself look. Or do you know what I mean? There's a lot. There's a lot. Yeah.
And has perfectionism been a part of your life?
Oh, massive. I had to, like, I think the reason that my academic life didn't fit me anymore once I became a mum is because perfectionism, I think it couldn't survive. Couldn't survive in motherhood. How can it? And I think that's what kept me surviving in academia, in a work environment where achievement was very important, where the way you looked was very important, like how you came across, how you know, how you were ranked, how people rated you, the feedback you got, you know, the whole image, the whole persona was very important. And perfectionism was what kept me alive in that environment. It meant that I did whatever it took.
So it was, like, a survival strategy. It was
a survival. It was a coping mechanism. Like, I would do whatever it took to survive in that environment. Like, if I had to be up all night, I had to be up all night without a question. Like, it's not even up for debate. You know, before I would give a lecture, and I loved lecturing, but I would have to rehearse that for my own sanity before I did it, just so that I felt safe enough to do it. I had to rehearse it, like, several times and record myself so that I could hear my voice back, so that I felt safe enough, like I wasn't going to be called out and someone wasn't go, who do you think you are up here doing a job that you're not good enough for? Like, I felt like I was hiding in plain sight all the time,
like an imposter syndrome,
like,
feeling,
like crushing, but like to the level, like you can't breathe because you're just so focused on, like, keeping up appearances and keeping up, like, making sure that you don't get found out. And I think when you become a mum, you can't survive that way anymore.
No.
So I think pretty much overnight, it felt like it was the death of me, that previous version. She was dead, gone, and I couldn't be her anymore. So I think that's also why the ground beneath my feet just felt like it crumbled, and every part of my life didn't fit. Like, my friendships didn't feel like they fit anymore because I wasn't that person anymore. And, like, my marriage, like, we had to kind of relearn how to communicate properly with each other and get really clear about what we expect from each other and what's fair and what's not fair and things like that. And yeah, just the way I move through the world is different.
Yeah.
It's literally different.
That must have been or felt like an identity shift.
Yeah, like a crisis.
Okay, yeah.
Like almost a crisis in the beginning.
Yeah.
Not as I went on. I started to feel more and more free
Yeah.
as time went on.
Yeah.
And I think by the time my second baby arrived, I felt like this is freedom.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't, I'm not in crisis. I'm free. But it's been like getting closer and closer to what that means, who I really am. Because I think when you spend all of your life being a different you, who are you? How do you know who that is at the core? Like, and I think that so much of the last year and this kind of journey that I've been on has been just like getting to know her. And just being her, like reminding myself you're safe just to be that person.
Absolutely. I love using the kind of term positive disintegration, like where we have these transitions, and I think a lot of late identified people who I speak a lot to go through that in their unmasking process, but in their rediscovery of self that they have been so masked even to themselves. And I think motherhood and that does a very similar thing where it's like, I think it is more like a crisis because it's not like a slow transition.
No.
I mean, maybe the healing, recovery, finding your identity is, and
that's slower.
But this like positive disintegration happens.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, exactly that. And I think as well, like the way I used to fit in a lot is to kind of take on other people's personalities in some ways and like take on characters that I thought I had to be like to fit in, and it worked. And then I became a mum, and it's like, I don't know which character to be. Like, I don't know who I'm supposed to be here. So I would turn and look to other people and look toward these parents of magical easy kids and be like, what's that character got that makes that happen? Let's try and be her for a bit and see if that works. Didn't work. Let's try and be, the one who does all the classes. Maybe she's got it cracked.
Wear yourself out, crash cards
literally
instead.
wear yourself out. Talk about just run yourself into the ground. That's what I did for a bit. And I think like when I started to feel more free when my second baby came along, I was like, okay, I'm moving into a different version of myself. I recognize that. But again, who is she? Who do I need to be? What's this character? What's her personality? And so there was still a bit of unpicking and unpacking that had to happen there. And that took years as well. Like there's just so many layers. But I think I'm finally at a place where I just feel like I'm in touch. I'm in touch with who I am for the first time, potentially, in my whole life, or since I was a child, let's say. I feel like I'm finally in touch with that person.
And tell us about that person and tell us what it feels like to be in touch.
She's scatty as hell. She's scatty, she's messy, she just is chaos a lot of the time. It's like, I think I've spent a lot longer than I realised just trying to keep a lid on my chaos. But I refuse to do it anymore, and I just like hold my hands up. I'm like, I'm really bad at that. Like today, right? You'll like this. My husband is the only one who knows that I do this, but almost every time I come to London, I end up going the wrong direction on the tube. And I did it
over
today.
and over again.
I did it today. I look at a map, I know where I'm going, and I still get on the wrong tube.
I completely relate.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
how? How does my brain do that?
Again.
Every time? Again. And it's all
The again bit.
Yeah, the again bit. That's what my husband can't wrap his brain around, because he's so like great at directions and map reading. And I'm like, I look at a map and it's like a foreign language. I can't
Swims in
read
front of my
it.
eyes.
Yes, that's a great way of describing it. I cannot read it.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? But I'm at a point now, I'm like, that is a part of who this person is. She can't read maps.
Yeah.
She gets lost a lot.
And I just love that, because partly because I completely relate to that, and
Yeah.
that is just so my experience. And motherhood blew that up for me because there's so
Yeah.
much freaking coordination that's got to go on.
Ridiculous.
Even the basics.
Yeah.
Even the basic
Yeah, I
stuff
know.
is like requires a lot of
like making sure they have clean uniform.
Yeah, just all of it. Food in the fridge.
Food in the fridge.
Like,
Yeah, there are so many
clean
things.
pants. Just like it's
Yeah.
so many things.
Yeah.
And I too have mounted curbs following on from baby music classes and stuff like that.
Because you're frazzled.
Yeah, it's there is that level of chaos for me, but motherhood brought a whole other dimension because the cognitive load and the physical load and the lack of sleep, you can't hide it anymore.
You can't hide it. No, you can't hide it.
So that unmasking is very, very quick, even if you're not sure what the hell it is and what's going on
exactly
here.
Exactly that. I had no idea what it was. But also, like, there's another side to it as well, where I'm, like I said, I'm so rigid and so particular. Like, I've always called it my particularness.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I like what I like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's it. And I'll wear the same thing all the time. And I'll eat the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm, I'm funny about noises and textures and all of it. And it wasn't until, like, my children came along and, like, my son showed up with his particularness. About the way he likes things, or it would be as simple as, like, how to build a sandwich.
Yes.
And I'm like,
yeah,
that's how you build a sandwich, because he, like, me and him are on a level, and he understands that that's how you got to structure the sandwich. But tiny quirks like that, I didn't realize what I was looking at.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do.
I just thought it was who I was, but
Yeah.
also I hid a lot of it, and I just laughed it off, like, jokes about it. But now I've, like, fully embraced, like, in this truth telling era, I'm like, I'm a bit of chaotic, but I'm a bit of, I like what I like. And, I have a very small sensory cup, and I get overwhelmed very easily, and I feel very deeply, and there's a lot going on in this picture. That's just who I am, and I can't hide. I couldn't keep a lid on any of that now if I tried. I don't think.
And very similar for me, and for a lot of people that I talk to and work with, but I think children are just sometimes that beautiful reflection of what you're not and what you are.
Yes.
And
what you're not. I like that bit. Yeah.
And in that, because you love that child and you want to care for that child, you become so more accepting and conscious of how the sandwich should be stacked.
Yes.
Because if it's a different way to how it should be, which is how you like it, you've got to have a workaround for that. But I think it does bring some of that to life, and that's also part of the messiness, because there is no equation for that.
No,
there is no perfect way to do that, and your children can be completely different. And
massively. Tell me about it. Got a whole rainbow of kids in my house, where everything, they have their different preferences and their different needs, and like you say, there's no formula for that. You can't, and that was another mistake. It was like, we thought when we had our firstborn, we'd created the formula. We knew what he liked, what he didn't like, how to get him to sleep, how to not, all of the things. And we thought, we'll just take that and we'll just apply it to the second kid. No, you don't. No, you don't. Like, all of this, we did everything the same. Like, my eldest is an incredible sleeper. Has that is one thing I count my blessings for. Yeah. High sleep need, very high sleep need. So it's always like 12 hours a night, and it has been that way for a long, like, since he was a baby. Yeah.
Nothing that you did necessarily.
I didn't do a thing.
Just how.
Didn't do a thing. Yeah. Needed a really big nap in the day. Yeah. Really rigid. Couldn't like move from that nap either. It was like he'd have a 3-hour nap in the day, and would have done that up until 5 or 6, but went to school, and so couldn't have it anymore. So then that created a whole other thing of problems. But applied the formula to my second one. She didn't sleep for 2 years. 2 years it took us to, like, again, we didn't even do anything to get to that point where she finally settled at 2 years. It was just like, you can't, there's no formula.
There isn't, is there? One thing that you talk about Tuesday is, and recently you've been talking about it a bit more, is fear in motherhood. Yeah. I'd love us to talk a little bit more about that. Where can we start?
Where can we start with fear? I think how I got into it, or how I started talking about it, my access point for, like, talking about it online was the fact that I feel afraid of traumatizing my children. Yeah. It's a fear that consumes me sometimes. I feel like I have a really deep fear of getting it wrong for them. And like, you know, one day in the future, I'm going to find out, like I get caught in future scenarios where anything could be going on, but in every version of the future, my kids have some kind of healing to do because of me. And because of the mistakes I'm making right now, the ways I'm falling short and failing them in some capacity because of my lack of capacity or whatever it is. And so I said that out loud on my social media, and I had a massive, mega response. Like, you've just named something that I feel as well. I feel this immense pressure. But then I went even further with the fear. I was like, let's drop down a layer. I'm afraid that, especially with my neurodivergent children, the ones who require a significant amount of feedback and corrective feedback, I feel like I'm literally becoming their inner critic. Like, my voice is going to become their inner critic. So I got into that fear, and again I was swarmed by messages, comments. You've just hit the nail on the head. That is literally what runs loops in my head. And so then I asked mums, tell me your biggest parenting fear. Like, I know this is really niche and really specific to me. What's your biggest fear? And I was moved to tears. I was moved to tears by the hundreds and hundreds of responses. And there were similar themes. Well, I do this a lot, where I put up a question box and I ask for responses to something. And then the psychologist in me is like grouping into themes and like what things come up and like what areas they kind of sit under. So then I share according to themes, where there are like grouped responses. And then I shared that on my social media, and that went wild as well. And it was just like, I was finally, like, so many of the comments were along the lines of, I'm sad, like, these make me sad to read that mums feel this way, but also I feel like I can let go of the breath that I've been holding. Like, you've just said my fear out loud. And like, that was the feeling that I wanted. It wasn't to solve the fears. I wasn't offering a solution or a way round. Like, some of the fears were things like, I'm scared of dying and leaving my children behind, or I'm scared, but I'm worried about what will happen to my send child when I'm not here anymore. Who's going to look after them? Like, there were so many really specific, really heartbreaking fears that I didn't want to try and fix or talk away. I just wanted to create space and say, like, you know, the gathering around thing, like, come and sit and tell me your deepest fear, and I just want to hear it.
Because in that trying to fix, and certainly when you don't know someone's full story, but even if you do, that trying to fix that you just need to, or try this or whatever, I think it closes people down. They feel so unseen and unheard.
Completely, it's minimising.
It is.
It makes it small. And I didn't want to do that, because these are big fears. And I just wanted them to know that I saw that and I understood their fears. But it's one of those things, we get scared of, we're afraid of the fear itself. Like, we get scared of talking about it. And I think my impression of it, and I have absolutely no research to back this up, what I'm about to say, but I think there is so much around this, like, manifestation culture, and like, you know, what you believe comes true, or what you think comes true, like those kind of mindset-y. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
And I wonder if some of it is that mums are scared of their own fearful thoughts, because they think that if they acknowledge them, they're willing them to come true. They're like manifesting them.
I can completely see that being like a way to describe it, the manifestation, especially if you're a mum, and that is something that is part of your social media or part of your conversation. That word didn't exist so much to me in a common day usage when I was a mum. But and neither did the recognition that you can have like an OCD experience brought on by hormonal changes, which is you know during pregnancy and afterwards. And that was my experience. So I had worries, and I had all kinds of worries. Some, though, were these intrusive thoughts, intrusive images, and they were not the kinds of things that I could share easily, because it would be about harm coming to my children at the hands of my mistake. And so the shame was fueling that. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was new to it. I wasn't fitting in with the other mums necessarily because I wasn't perfecting it like them. So those thoughts could have been very true. I am a chaotic person, so I do get things wrong. So that also was a bit reinforcing. I would leave the fridge open and all the food would get ruined and I'd have to go shopping and, you know, mistakes were made. So, you know, a lot of that was fueled. And like I think we are afraid to share our fears for all kinds of reasons. That if we acknowledge it, it might become true in the manifestation sense, or that it says something about who we are.
Yes, that's the second piece to it as well. Is that it offers some reflection of your darkness. That you have these thoughts or fears. That is a massive part of it, but also like sort of related to the manifestation thing is this positive mindset culture, like positive vibes only, positive thoughts only. So just don't give it any time or airspace and just think positive thoughts and you'll be fine. Like almost just shut that part of you down, focus on the positives, like, you know, it will all be okay, it will all work out. And it's like that's so minimizing and so invalidating of an emotion that is so human. Like fear is one of our most primal and purposeful emotions. It is there for a reason, and if you continuously shut it down with positive vibes only, like you're shutting down a really important part of yourself, a really human part of yourself. And I went the other way. And I said, let's bring it to the table.
Absolutely.
And let's like shine some light on it and see what it's really about. And
because when you're saying that, and I've thought this before, but certainly when people put positivity onto me, I don't dismiss it outright, but sometimes it feels that's inauthentic. That makes me, that's making me deny something with a tool that is like you're missing the mark entirely. Because I actually need to be able to talk about this fear or this shame. And I guess as a psychologist, at times that's been harder for me, but it may be easier because I also believe that evolve for a reason, that sometimes they get fueled with positivity and end up worse, or you avoid them and they end up worse, or other things that we do to these emotions that amplify them. But I love what you're doing because you're basically like just sort of rawly like unavoiding all of this.
You know, unavoiding is a good word.
Confronting it, putting it on the table
completely,
and not fire hosing people with positivity that will make them feel shame or that's an inauthentic response to my lived experience.
Exactly.
Which, you know,
but I know like from psychology literature, for instance, you know, the like rebound effects that our thoughts have as well. So like I say to people all the time about that kind of classic psychology experiment where you say to someone, don't think of a pink elephant. Immediately your brain thinks of a pink elephant. And it's like, you say to yourself, don't think those scary thoughts. Immediately your brain's going to, it's like whiplash. They come straight back. They rebound with strength and with force. And apply that to all of your emotions, like anger. You don't want to feel your anger. It's only going to come back and bite you even harder. You don't want to feel your fear. It's going to get louder. It's going to crank all the way up. And I just think it's not helpful. It's not helpful to say, just think positive thoughts, or no, we're just going to focus, like look away. Let's just focus in this direction and be grateful. Be grateful.
It's also triggering.
You just need to be more grateful.
I'm having like lots of past memories being relived right now through all this language because it's just so true. And but I think the other element to this is, at least how I felt, that if I responded with, that's not really helping me, that I would be seen as ungrateful or miserable or not trying hard enough.
Or like aggressive.
Oh God, that one, totally.
Yes.
So you can't even challenge it or say,
no, you can't challenge
works for you, doesn't work for me.
Yeah,
and that's like, oh, look at her. Like,
exactly.
Miserable.
It's too aggressive. You can't, how radical to say that actually, that doesn't work for me, thanks. Can you imagine? Like, that's
Rude.
the society we live in.
I know.
How dare
that's
you?
What's so refreshing. Because I think people will be drawn for that as well. That, you know, your page is not aggressive. Your page is not rude. But
Try not. I hope not.
We don't mind a little bit sometimes. I'm not saying you are, but sometimes we are. But like it's the truth telling of your experience, and those who want to gravitate will.
Yeah.
And those who don't, because they are still on another journey or want to be somewhere else, they can visit somewhere else.
Completely. And I think like the bigger mission of what I do, why I do what I do, is to humanize motherhood, to make it human again.
Yeah.
I think for so long, and like certainly that was my early experience of it, it was inhuman.
Yes.
Like, and inhumane.
Yeah.
Like the things I put myself through, I completely dehumanized myself.
Yeah.
I turned myself into a robot, into a machine who was just there to just like tick the boxes and get all the things done. And my hope is that by like shining a light in all these ugly places, I'm re-infusing like humanness to it and saying like, look how normal this is. Like we're all a bit messy. We all have these really uncomfortable feelings that we don't want to share because we think we're alone in them, but actually it unites us all and we don't realize it. And like it blows me away. I hear from mothers all over the world, corners all over the world, who are like, oh, sending you love from Indonesia or sending you love from Belgium or wherever it is. And I'm just like, it's so universal. It's so universal. We all feel these things, like, and it blows me away. And yet there are still so many barriers to this connectedness because of shame, because of fear, like so many things.
And like you said, maybe some of the evidence isn't there yet about some of these ideas as to why this exists, but the kind of evidence is there already. If you're getting all corners of the earth contacting you, and people identifying, there's our evidence.
Exactly.
You know, there's our pool of research people. They're telling us directly, and they're, you know, that is reflective of their experience and what they're going through.
And it's human. Like it just seems like a really, like my messy experience is just a really standard human one. By the looks of things. That's what the evidence is telling me. I'm not like, it's not a lab. There's not very much control going on here, but the evidence is suggesting, trending toward the fact that this is universal.
Tuesday, I glanced at my watch and realised we're pretty much at the end, and
Wow,
I can't actually believe that. Like, I double checked as well. I was like, oh no, it actually is. Now, I can't remember because I forget things a lot, but I can't remember if I asked you to bring an object in.
I did,
Okay,
I did,
so I didn't want to put you on
Sorry,
the spot.
I'm going to reach around them. I brought my beautiful ear defenders that, I mean, they're stunning. I don't know if people see the video, but
they will do.
They're wide.
We'll take a picture of that.
I often, when I'm wearing them, I don't know how loud I'm talking, by the way. When I wear them in my kitchen and I open a kitchen cupboard, it like catches on the ear defender.
Please tell me you wear them around the house to drown out the house noise as well.
Always. That's what they're for. That is what they're for. They're to buffer the noise that my children make, because I find that incredibly overwhelming. Like from the time they get up in the morning, there are loud shrieks, like high-pitched sounds. There's a lot of like singing really loud, and like that sounds really joyful, and it is, but it feels like a cheese grater, like on my soul. And I can't tolerate it, and I'm a much better human being when I can control the inputs that are coming in, and sound is most, it's the thing I'm most sensitive to. So I try and control how much of that gets in sometimes, so that I can function, because I literally feel like it's vibrating off the floor and coming through my feet and traveling through my body, and my head's going to explode. And
it is. I mean, actually, energetically,
like reverberations like coming up my body. I'm like, I can't physically take that. So it helps massively. Very grounding, and just the sight of them, I'm like, they're really soft and squishy, and they apply like a pressure to my head that feels really soothing and comforting.
Some feedback, proprioceptive feedback.
Yeah, exactly. So really grounding in that way.
I absolutely love that. I have described motherhood as a sensory assault.
Oh,
I think that was one
that's the perfect description of it.
It's like, what?
It is an assault.
It's coming from everywhere.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Smells,
You're under
sounds.
siege. Yeah. completely.
Completely. So, yeah, anything you can grab to reduce that sensory load, it's going to help you function.
I think so. And like people say to me all the time, "Oh, do your kids see you wearing that? Like, what is the message that you're sending to them when they see you wearing that? Like, they think they're the problem." And I'm like, no, they know I'm the problem, and that it's actually my brain that can't handle the noise. It's not. And actually, that makes them a bit more compassionate. And like they'll say things like, "You need your ear defenders on." Like my son will bring them to me, and I just think there's no harm in it. I don't see that there could be harm in it. And they wear ear defenders in certain situations.
I was going to say, it's also the message of feel free to look after yourself.
Yes, there is that. Tend to yourself. You need to shut down the noise for a bit. So, I'm not afraid of wearing them. I do it all the time. Yeah.
Well, Tuesday, I'm so glad you made it in
Yes,
today.
I made it. Thank you for having me.
It's just been wonderful to talk to you. And I could hang off every one of your words, and it feels like every one of my experiences as well. I really relate to so much of what you do. So thank you for putting yourself out there, putting that rawness out there. I know it's not always easy to do that, and it can feel very scary to be public about our personal life and the things that we don't know that people are necessarily going to relate to. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I've loved it.